Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Passion Talks. I am going to be a moderator for the day. I am Romil, and I have the honor of being with Mala ma'am today. And the first interaction I had, I still remember that was the time Mala ma'am had come as a chief guest for one of the Hyderabad Runners evening, long time back. It was 2013, 14, I think, and that was the time we first heard about Mala ma'am. And since then, she has been reaching greater heights each and every time. And incidentally, last 2018 was the time once I was doing the La Ultra, and at the finish line, somebody I see is really pumping up. Come on, Romil! And out of the world, I could see Mala ma'am, and I was like, "Am I hallucinating that I'm able to see ma'am?" It's amazing feeling to have ma'am here, and all those who have read up the write-up which we had shared with you all would know that the kind of accomplishment she has and the kind of life she has lived, that's like no one else.
And my 17 years of education, that is BSc, LLB, I did in 14 institutions. 17 years of education in 14 institutions. So that is how I have become a sort of wanderer since then. Since my childhood, I have become a wanderer. It was because of my father's government service, we were getting transfer, and I was changing the schools.
Right.
So I did a BSc and LLB, having no other option, because ours was a very, traditional, protective family where girls are born only to get married and to go to husband's house and take care of the husband's house. That was the mental setup that we were brought up. So though I was secured seat for medicine, engineering, and I wanted to do IAS or IPS or do medicine and join AMC, I'm telling you now. One second. Yeah, sorry. So having no other option, I did BSc and did my LLB and joined Syndicate Bank as probationary officer. That also without the knowledge of my parents. They didn't want me to take up the job also. After my LLB, they wanted me to get married and settle down. So that was the condition. I couldn't do my MBBS and join AMC. I couldn't do IPS. I couldn't do MSc in physics. All those things, all those seats were available for me. But finally, I joined the Syndicate Bank only with the intention of being economically independent. Unless girls are economically independent, they cannot think on their own. That is my sort of a practical philosophy I have developed. Otherwise, you have to depend on your father. Otherwise, you have to depend on your husband. Or in the old age, you have to depend on your children. So that's what I didn't want. Whether marriage or no marriage, I wanted to be fiercely independent economically and emotionally also. That was the reason I took up the bank job without any. I didn't have any other idea of pursuing a banking career. My career, according to my dream, it was a different thing. And in those days, marathon, mountaineering, adventure, these words were all dictionary words. I didn't even know the spelling of these things. I never went in anywhere near any sports field. I didn't know what track is. I didn't know what mountains and what snow is. So sort of a studious student going to the school, college, coming back home, doing the household work, doing my studies and be happy with those things only. Somewhere around 23, 24, I realized I have to take up the job and I have to be independent. And even the job also, I could take up with the condition that I should stay with my brother or uncle. I was not supposed to stay on my own anywhere. Only if I get the posting with my uncle, I could stay there. I said, okay, I took up the job. Only when I became little more confident, independent to move out of the house, I first moved to Belgaum because I was not even confident to go anywhere else. We have not traveled all alone. We haven't gone out of the house without a male escort. We were not supposed to go out of the house after 6 o'clock. We were not supposed to sit with the male members of the family and talk and discuss anything. Our janana was separate for all the ladies in the house. And all the 24 hours we were wearing sari only, no other dress. So in such situation, I took up the job and came to Belgaum, started staying in a working women's hostel. That was one of the rebellious thing that I have done in the family. Everybody
Okay.
was looked, yeah.
Yeah, fine. Good.
So at that time, I was, by the time I was feeling little monotonous with the bank job also. It was not challenging me enough for my potential, for my intellectual. It was not challenging. I wanted something different. Something different I wanted even in the physical activity also. Of all the things, I joined karate class. I joined karate class and practiced it for 4 years in Belgaum. So during that time, I came to know about these Himalayan treks through Youth Hostels Association. I joined, I traveled all alone to Delhi and started going for these youth hostel programs. That was also another rebellious act that I had done in the family. And first trekking when I was coming to Delhi and going to Manali, my sister's marriage was fixed. I didn't even attend my sister's marriage and I went for my trek, that to youth hostel trek. It was not such a big thing, but still, once I decided to go for this something new, because we didn't know anything about Himalaya except for Badrinath and Kedarnath. We had not heard of anything about Himalaya.
Okay.
So
Okay.
once I started doing these Himalayan treks, I was bitten by the bug and went for the mountaineering courses in Darjeeling.
Okay.
And in those days, we didn't had any of these internet connectivity or online any communication. Everything was through the post office. So I used to get all the pro forma and then prospectus from these mountaineering institutes and apply there and go for the courses. Hello?
Yeah, ma'am.
So that is how I got into marathon. Marathon came afterwards. Trekking and mountaineering. Once I said that if I'm going to Himalaya, parents were so scared. Those who go to Himalaya, they may not come back because they had heard only of Badrinath, where people go only in their old age, only after they finish their family commitment, other responsibilities. As a pilgrimage, they go to Badrinath. That was the only Himalayan destination we knew. When I said I'm going for all these things, they thought I'm also going for Himalayas, and once I'm taking some sannyasi, this one, I may not come back. So that was the fear they had. So once I explained all these things, how it happens, what is the trek, and how all the people will be staying in the tents and the camps and all those things, he was a bit relieved. My father was a bit relieved. And then once I started, it became a sort of a regular feature. I used to take all my privilege leave for these activities only, either for the mountaineering expeditions or for going as a liaison officer or doing some other course or the skiing course. Whatever opportunities were coming in my way, I was grabbing all those things. I was utilizing all my resources like financial resources, leave resources, physical resources, everything for these activities only. I mean, it was something new, some new world I had found for myself. And then I had a feeling that I have started these things very late. So whatever opportunity comes my way, I should not leave it. I should grab it and make good whatever I have lost in my childhood or the young age. And then my first trek happened somewhere at the age of 31. Himalayan treks happened at 31. But
Which
after
year was
this,
it, ma'am?
pardon?
Which year was it?
84.
84. How many students would do it? Because those days these things were kind of unheard of.
No, but we had only one ladies course. We used to be about 25, 30 girls. Lot of NCC students used to be there. Lot of college girls. And I used to be the senior most in the both basic course and advanced course. At the age of 31, 32, I used to be the senior most. And I used to have that senior designation to take care of all the communication and this one.
Right.
Interacting with the administration and all. So that is how I started mountaineering. And then through IMF, I did a few expeditions. I did liaison officer. I used to go as a guest instructor to Darjeeling only. I did few of Bachendri's courses also, Tata Adventure courses, and through some of the expedition along with her. After that, in 91 and 92, IMF had organized pre-Everest expeditions. In 91 to Comet, and in 92 to Mohammed Kangri. I was in both of them. First in Comet, out of 55 girls, 16 girls were selected.
Okay.
For Mohammed Kangri, second expedition. In that also, I went up to the summit camp, and weather went bad. We waited there for 3 days at the summit camp of Mohammed Kangri. It was around 22,000 feet, I think. And then from there, after 3 days, when all the ration was getting exhausted, and Bachendri said, we'll wind up now. We can't wait further for the weather to clear. So from summit camp, after spending 3 days there, I came back. In the sense, along with the team, we came back. And for the final Everest expedition, like a proverbial gap between the cup and the lip, it slipped from my hand. Otherwise, 93 in all-women expedition, I was supposed to be there. I was expecting to get a berth in that. But at the last minute, I came to know my name is not there. That was a big, big disappointment and a frustrating experience. Because for 2 years, I had worked hard for all these expeditions. I was in charge of a lot of organization, accounts, finance, traveling, all those things I had taken care of, a lot of logistics. In fact, Bachendri used to say that I am the backbone of the expeditions and all such things. But finally, as a proverbial this one, it slipped from my hand. So, and then it was really, really frustrating. I wanted something else to divert my attention and my potential. So meanwhile, I was running when I was in Goa only. During 88, somewhere in 80s only, I had started running in Belgaum and Goa. And without going for any races, I used to run for 18 to 20 kilometers. I was staying in a place called Savarde in Goa, and Madgaon was 18 kilometers from there. Sundays, I used to come to Madgaon, and my cousin was there. I used to go to her house and have lunch and come back in the evening. Or else, that Kolva beach was another 6 kilometers from Madgaon. Sometimes I used to go to Kolva and spend the day there on the beach, come back to my place. It was 24 kilometers. So at that time, there were no races in India, marathon races. It was only for those national runners who were selected for some of the international races and all. Only those people were running long distance running. Hardly a handful of people were there. 2-3 girls, another 7, 8 or 10 boys used to run the long distance races. And when I was in Goa, I used to run and people used to stop vehicle, bank people and all would recognize me. Madam, क्यों आप अकेले जा रहे हो? Drop करूँ क्या? नहीं, मैं practice कर रही हूँ running. किसके लिए practice कर रही? कौन आपके पीछे पड़े हैं? मजाक करते थे. But I used to run. And another surprising thing, morning, even if I was running 18-20 kilometers in Goa, hardly I used to come across any vehicle there. 1 or 2 vehicles in all that distance, in all that time. So that was one of the amazing experience I used to have in running in Goan roads and Goan countryside and Goan beaches. That was the thing that hooked me to running. And there only one of the college sports instructors or teacher, he saw me running around and he used to come to my bank. He asked me why I'm running so much. I said, just like that, I like running. It gives me good feeling. I practice it. Then he asked me, why don't you go for veteran races? I said, what is that veteran races? I hope you are around 35 years. I think I was around 35 at that time, 36 or 35. Yes, I said, yes, I have crossed 35. Then above 35 years, there are veteran races at national level, Asian level and world level also. Like Olympics, it is for the above 35 years. Then immediately I got in touch with Goan Athletic Association, and then I got selected at the state level. I went for the national level, and then I used to run 5,000, 10,000 track runs. And then while practicing, the coach said, you have got good speed, why don't you run for 3000 also, 1500 also. So I started running 1500, 3000, 5000, 10,000 Ks track runs. I went to Malaysia, Singapore, sponsored by Goan government, with the, representing the Goa state. And from there, from there I got transferred to Delhi. And when all this happened with mountaineering, disappointment and all, then somehow it came to my mind, why can't I start running? By that time, I came to know that marathon races are there like this, 42 kilometers and all. And during that time in Delhi, this Rath Marathon used to be there.
Yes.
91, 92, I ran half marathon. And my first half marathon without any coaching, my own running, because I was continuously running in Goa, Belgaum and all, I ran in 153.
Oh my God.
First in 91, I was 38. And then next year I ran 149.
Amazing.
And during 93, I started training under a sports authority coach.
Okay.
And then you may relate it very well to this, how I started running along with us, training under him. One of my cousin was a deputy commandant in Raj Rifles.
Okay, nice.
In Delhi. So I used to visit him. His house was in Cantonment. I was staying near Thalakoma. I used to go to his house, and once I expressed I want to train for marathon. Can you help me? Because he used to often talk to me about the sports and the how is it in the army and all those things. Then immediately he said, so and so is there with us. He's a sports Sai coach, but he's deputed to Raj Rifles. He trains Boys Company. Boys Company, you may be aware.
Yeah, Boys Company is there. All the units. All the
boys.
centers they have boys.
Yeah, in the Raj Rifles Center there was Boys Company. One of the Sai coach was deputed there. So my cousin introduced me to him, Mr. Ravanan. He was from Tamil Nadu, but he was in Delhi. Then he said, she wants to train for marathon. Why don't you give her some tips? Then boss se aaya hai instruction how he will refuse. He said, okay. But he was not taking any interest in me for almost a month. He was just testing me, I think, whether I'm really serious or just for the heck of it, just for the fancy of it, I'm doing it. And once he realized that I'm very serious, very passionate, and within 1 month I started improving a lot of, lot of improvement was there. Then he started taking interest, started giving me proper schedule and started explaining those schedules, how to make the schedules, what is the methodology for marathon running, how we have to cross train with the weight training, yoga, long runs, short runs, speed work, everything. Not only he gave me the schedule, he used to explain because I was interested. He knew that I can understand, unlike other sportsmen who just blindly follow the instructions. I used to question him why we had to do, why can't we change this, why can't we do that. So whatever these schedules, structured trainings are there, speed workout, short speed, long speed, short tempo, long tempo, then Sunday long run. Sunday long run, we used to come to Gurgaon from this Raj Rifles, come to Gurgaon border where Ambience Mall is there now.
Yeah.
Touch there and come back to Raj Rifles Center again. That used to be around 33, 34 kilometers. So, wo training karne vat, he used to come on the scooter. We didn't have any Garmin, we didn't have any other this one. He used to come on my scooter. I had a scooter. I used to go to the Raj Rifles on my scooter, and he would take that one and keep all our water bottles, jackets, and all those things will be in the scooter basket. And then one of the weakest boy he used to put along with me to run. And after 10 kilometers, that boy used to be changed. Another boy would come. Because even the middle distance runners, they do long run on Sundays. Right. So like that, there used to be about 20, 25 from Raj Rifles, Boys Company, and even regular Jawans also. I used to run along with them on the express highway, where express highway is there now, this airport road. I used to run on that road. It went on for 6 months, that too during peak summer of Delhi. And finally, my race was in Japan on October 17th. That was the World Veteran Athletic Meet. And I was representing India. That was the first marathon I was running. I was representing India and I was running in Japan. So
Amazing.
who will get such opportunity? Training under a SAI coach, and earlier, though he was not taking interest, afterwards he was so impressed by me. I was 40 by that time. He used to tell me, Mala, you should have come to me by 20 years before. I would have made you a world marathon runner. So much I had improved. And then I didn't know how much I'm running and what pace I am running. And only whenever he told me something, I used to make a note and keep a logbook. And logbook also, I used to run in the this cantonment area or Chanakyapuri. From one roundabout to the next roundabout, I could see the time, note down mentally, and come back, take my scooter, measure the distance, and make a logbook of mine. Still, I have maintained those logbooks. That was my running history. And seeing the present day addiction for the Garmin and all, I wonder how did I run my marathons?
But do you use Garmin's now?
Now I don't have. I had bought it in 2009 when I had gone to US. I lost it when I had gone to China for Great Wall of China Marathon in 2018. I used the single Garmin for 9 years. And that too, very sparingly I used to use whenever I wanted to record some of my runs and my distances and my pace and all. When I wanted to check myself, I used to use. Not on a regular basis. I was not addicted to Garmin. Now also I run on my feeling only, perceived exertion feeling. I don't use any, sometimes I in fact leave the regular watch also at home and I go for a run.
Very nice.
That has come right from the beginning. And then telling about my first marathon training, whenever Sunday running we used to go, he used to see his watch or he used to keep the stopwatch. And then he was telling me, Mala, you are running at 4:30 pace on Sunday runs. Sometimes you go even up to 4:20 also. With this rate, in 2 months, if you are doing this much, you can very well run in under 3. But somehow that time didn't come. To my misfortune, I could not continue my training under him for a long time. Only 2 marathons I trained under him. And he was telling you had to run 3 seasons. We used to do it season-wise. Summers I was not running. Summers I was taking off season. I was not running. So my coach used to say that you train under me for 3 seasons, you will be a world-class runner in your age group. But that time didn't come to me. Somehow that bad luck was there. My coach, he expired in one of the train accident in 95. So 2 marathons I trained under him, and whatever base he had put for me, all the structured training, how to make the schedule, how to assess your improvement, how to feel the intensity of your training, all those things, whatever he had told, still I follow the same thing. I don't follow any of the other, online schedules or any other coach's training. After that, I could not adjust with any other coach. That was the only training I took under one single coach, and with whom I had developed such a rapport and such an understanding. After that, I couldn't do it with any other coach. So it went on for 4 marathons at that time. I did one in Allahabad, 2 in Delhi, Rath Marathon, and 1 was in Japan. All were under 4, sub 4. And then after that, somehow in 98, I gave up marathon. I underwent a major medical issue. I underwent operation, and 2 years I was out of any of the physical activity from 98 to 2000. And then from 2000, slowly I started coming back. 2001, I went to Macau Marathon.
Okay.
Because there were no marathon in India. And my legs were itching to run the marathon. Once I recovered from my post-operative care and all that, my legs were itching and I wanted to do marathon. There were no marathons except the Rath Marathon. I decided to go for Macau Marathon. By that time, I had resigned my syndicate bank job also. I had completed 22 years and I was to get some pension. I said, I'll take my pension. I'll do only the adventure and marathon. Thinking that I had resigned also.
Amazing, I tell you, because that time, if somebody is talking about this in the present time, it's still okay. But then 2000, somebody leaving the job and thinking only of adventure, not easy to digest, I'm sure.
Yeah. I wanted to start an adventure company.
Okay.
And after resigning from Syndicate Bank, I started working with a adventure travel company in Vasant Vihar, Delhi.
Oh, nice.
I worked with him for 6 months.
Okay.
I accompanied lot of teams to trek and expedition in Ladakh. I stayed 4 months in Ladakh.
Oh, nice.
In 2001. At that time also I was running on all those, this is there, hospital and Joravar Fort and Shanti. At that time Shanti Stupa was not there, I think, I don't remember. But hospital road and all I used to run there, even 2001 also.
Wonderful.
In Ladakh. 4 months I stayed and did lot of Marga Valley trek and Hanupatta expedition and some other treks and all I did. And meanwhile, this ITC catastrophe had happened. US the World Trade Center. So
Yes.
tourism was in doldrum. So I dropped the idea of starting adventure company. And I came back to banking again. I joined IndusInd Bank. I came to Goa again.
Oh, nice.
So in Goa again, 2001, when I was going to Macau, somehow I got an idea, why not write to Anil Ambani? Because at that time he was running marathon. He was running 3:10 marathon. I had read about him in one of the Sunday paper. Full page article was there. So then I wrote to him, Anil Ambani, hard copy letter. Whatever it is, just 1 page introduction. If it is within your purview, why don't you sponsor my ticket for Hong Kong? And within 10 days, he not only sponsored my ticket, he gave me full expenses.
Oh, nice.
One of his corporate communication president got in touch with me. The way he talked to me, the way he encouraged, and the way he said, you send me another proposal with all the expenses. And Anil Ambani is very happy and he is very eager to sponsor you. That was in 2001.
Okay.
So I went to Hong Kong and Macau and did the marathon and came back and then joined IndusInd Bank. And then 2004, the Bombay Marathon started, Maiden Marathon 2004, Standard Chartered Marathon. So for that I started.
That marathon also. That marathon you won, no? That same one.
2004, there was no veteran category.
Okay.
It was only open category. And in open category also, first 15 were Kenya and Ethiopian runners.
Correct.
And then in our category, Indian runners also, first 14, 15 were all youngsters. National runners.
Yeah.
And by that time, I was already 50. 2004, my date of birth is 53. And 2004, I was 51. So there was no veteran category. I participated in open category. I got 29th place. 30 places they had announced. I got 29th place and I got $500 at that time also. That was the first Bombay Marathon. So at that time, I was doing a lot of road running in Goa. There was no proper ground or anything. And there was no, though, what is this? Beach was very close to me. Every day running on the beach was, for the marathon training, it was not proper. I was doing a lot of road running and I developed so much of knee pain. Doctor advised me bed rest. 15 days before the marathon, they advised me bed rest. And then I took all the painkillers and I went for the marathon. I did marathon very well. There was no pain at that time. But after the race, I went to Hinduja Hospital, met one of the very reputed orthopedic surgeon there to show my knees, who was an orthopedic surgeon for Sachin Tendulkar also, for our cricket team also. Then he said, of those who are sedentary and those who, and then I had started developing slight arthritis. those who are developing arthritis, advise them to do jogging and walking. And you have been doing so much, why you are thinking of stopping it? Continue your jogging. Only thing, don't do lot of speed work and surging. Lot of speed work and all. You don't do that, but continuous jogging, and you can go on for another 10, 12, 15 years, no problem. After that consultation, after that pain, I have run 20 marathons.
Amazing. Ma'am, now let's focus on the peculiar aspects, because this way we will not be able to cover the diversity you have as far as the achievements are concerned. So let's focus on one particular marathon which I'm still surprised is Antarctica Marathon. Tell us that journey of yours.
Yeah, as I told you, there were no marathons in India. And I was planning to do at least one marathon abroad. And if I'm going abroad, let me do all continents.
Okay.
That was the idea.
Right.
So by the time I had already done two marathons in US, Asia I had already done. Then okay, Australia, Europe, anytime I can do. Let me go for this one. And meanwhile, I was reading some reports and articles that there is a global warming and all the ice is melting. Then you may not be able to go to these places, South Pole and North Pole. All those tons of ice is melting, and then sea levels are going up, and all those things I used to read. And I said, it is now or never. I must do it now. So 2011, I decided. Somehow I had got some extra money at that time. Otherwise, for pensioner or retired people, where you will get so much of money, it was a budget of 10 lakhs. And I had already even left IndusInd Bank job also. I left IndusInd Bank job in 2007, again with the same idea. So 7 to 11, in 4 or 5 years, all my liquid money I had exhausted. But somehow I had got a jackpot. So I decided to spend that money instead of renovating a house, or instead of buying upgrading my car. I decided I'll go for Antarctica Marathon. And as you were mentioning earlier, it was not a big challenge. It was a challenge of only the finance. Running in Antarctica, it is only minus 20 degree temperature. Minus 20, 25 degree. When you are going to Siachen Glacier and staying there for 1 week, and we are going to 22,000 feet altitude, experiencing minus 20, 30 degree, and walking all the time, even knee level snow, soft snow. So running a marathon in Antarctica was not a big challenge physically. In fact, I was feeling much relaxed. I didn't have any muscle soreness. I didn't have any bone issues. My body was very relaxed. Even after the race also, I never felt that exertion or that fatigue of a marathon there.
But Antarctica, you go via Argentina.
There are different routes. I went from this one, Chile.
Okay. And that's how many days of travel?
I was in Delhi at that time, from Delhi to Chile, and Chile mein, what is that? Punta Arena. We stayed in Punta Arena. Until there, it was 44 hours journey for me. Delhi to Dubai, Dubai to Sao Paulo, Sao Paulo to Santiago, Santiago to Punta Arena, with all the layovers and all. It was 44 hours journey. And we stayed 3 days in Punta Arena. From there, it was charter flight.
Okay.
Charter flight was also Russian, that Illinois cargo flight that converted into passenger flight. Half of the flight was for the cargo and half of the flight was for the passenger. So that was about 5 hours charter flight. And then, of course, experience-wise, it was out of the world, amazing experience. But physical challenge-wise, it was not that. In fact, Everest Base Camp Marathon was much, much more challenging. After that, I ran 50, Annapurna 50 was very challenging. In fact, Ladakh Marathon was also challenging. But except for the travel and the financial aspect, Antarctica Marathon, I'm prepared to go even tomorrow also if somebody sponsors. See, and being a mountaineer, you may be knowing, it is not the bad weather, it is the bad preparation and the bad clothing that matters.
Okay.
Minus 20 degree is not that adverse temperature that human being cannot sustain or cannot manage. It is the proper
Correct.
clothing. It's a proper equipment, proper clothing, proper preparation that is required. So while running, of course, amazing experiences were there, but it was not physically challenging, and I was not feeling, why did I come here? It is so difficult.
Right.
I finished the race with a smile on my face. It took
Very
me
nice.
7 hours, 11 minutes, and full 42 kilometers, white snow, pristine white, not even a single drop of any dirt or any litter. You should see the
Right.
arrangements and the maintenance that these people had done, arrangements even for the marathon also. And then there were 7 people who ran 100 miles.
But then I've heard that if the weather is not proper, that is the time they have to cancel the event because you cannot stay there for long. Is it true?
No, our stay was for 5 days.
Okay.
Earlier it was scheduled on 30th November. 30th November weather was a bit bad. It was very cloudy and very windy. Then they postponed it for 1st December. We did it on 1st December. And
Okay.
2nd December we departed from there. So,
Oh, nice. Ma'am, now next I would like you to focus about your Everest thing, which was there, which you were going to climb from the north side. Please tell us more details about that.
Yeah. See, after this Antarctica marathon in 2011, 2012, I had gone to, during my Everest Base Camp marathon, I was sitting in front of Khumbu Glacier and I was wondering, if I had come, I would have come here in 93 and I'm coming here for the marathon and all those things were coming.
Right.
If I get a chance again, whether I'll be able to come, whether I still have that thing in me to come back and try this Khumbu Glacier. Only I was thinking of Khumbu Glacier. Whether I was sitting just in front of Khumbu Glacier because we stayed 2 days before the marathon. So that time, I think the seed germinated in the mind to try for Everest. Okay. So then Everest Marathon, I did solo trekking. Without the porter, without guide, carrying my own luggage, without making any reservations, without booking the hotels. I just went to Kathmandu, stayed there for 2 days, and then took a flight to Lukla and went and did solo trekking. So that also gave me a lot of carrying my 15 kg rucksack and without even a trace of headache or high altitude sickness. Why can't lay to less stop hungry? Lay to less in 4 days.
Right. Hello.
Stop hungry. Things gave me a confidence. September. In 2014, I was seriously trying for this Everest.
Right.
And one of the NGO, they were supposed to sponsor me and I was supposed to endorse their activities.
Okay.
But somehow at the end of September or in the beginning of October, there were some big changes in their corporate setup and this event was shelled out.
Okay.
And there was no time for me in 2014 to go ahead with the program. So I postponed it to 2015. Meanwhile, I was comparing south route and the north route. Both I was comparing. I met Shekhar Babu. I met some of the other people who had gone to north, south also. And comparing these two and with Shekhar Babu's explanation and all, somehow I decided, let me try north only for few of the things. Because somehow I felt little apprehensive about the Khumbu
Ice
fall. Several times. So I thought Shekhar Babu was there and then Vimla Negi, one of my earlier mountaineering friend, expedition friend, she was there. So with some consideration, I decided to go for the north.
Okay.
went on, and then again I went for the sponsorships and two banks and ONGC. I got about 50% sponsorship and 50%
Ma'am, we are losing the audio, I think, ma'am.
my own money and some loan I took again. So again, I made a lot of physical training and all those things. And I had Stock Hungary and some of the marathon marathon and some of the ultra running experience only. I never, at that time, I didn't have any 7,000 meters experience. That was long time. I'm bit apprehensive about my high altitude fitness.
The north side of Everest, if we can focus on that.
I was a bit apprehensive about my fitness because I had not tried any high peak like 7,000ers. My experience was only with the Stock Hungary and a few of the trekking and ultra runs and all those things. Of course, at the sea level, at the city level, I was very fit for my age, but for the altitude, I had little apprehension. But still, I said, okay, at the 62, if I delay further, it may not be possible now or never again. I said, and then I embarked on the journey, but it never had to happen. And then, yeah, everything was going on well. All acclimatization was going well. We had sorted the equipment. We had sent them to the higher camps, all the high altitude food and equipment we had sent up. We had done some skill revisions, altitude, acclimatization walks, and all those things we had done, and everything was going on well. 24, we started to go for the higher camp, intermittent camp. And then from intermittent camp, I came back. I had some, I don't know what problem. I was feeling very dry. I thought it is dehydration. Let me go back and then take rest for a day and then again, because we had a lot of time. It was 24th April till 25th April, and end of May we had time. So when I'm not properly acclimatized, why to go? I thought I came back on 24th afternoon. I came back to base camp. After going up to intermittent camp. And then 25th morning, after taking rest and having a lot of liquid and all those things after morning breakfast, still there was time for the lunch. So I was sitting in the lunch mess tent and I was reading something or doing something. I don't remember what I was doing. And all of a sudden I felt our tent was babbling. Then from outside people started shouting, earthquake, earthquake. Then I ran out. And in our camp, only 2-3 people were there. Other 3 people were in a higher camp. And then Shekhar Babu was there. So I came out and saw, and then he too was telling, yes, there is a massive earthquake in Nepal. Then again, we started getting messages from that walkie-talkie or whatever wireless messages they had. We started getting a lot of report from Nepal. In Nepal, it was very, very severe, very, very bad. But in North Base Camp, it was not that much. In a distance, there was rock falls. Lot of rock falls were happening in a distance. And some of the tents were broken. But in our tent, nothing had happened. Only the babbling and certain things which we had kept on the tepoy or on the boxes and all, they were falling. Flask and water bottle, they had fallen. So for 3 days we stayed back there, and every day some or the other reports were coming, and all the people who were in camp, advanced camp, they also came back. And this Chinese mountaineers, they were opening route above 8,400 meters. They too abandoned the 8,400 meters. They had already fixed the rope. And the remaining part also they abandoned, and they also came down. And there all the ice blocks were broken, ice walls were broken. Probably some of the ropes, fixed ropes were also submerged in the snow. So 3 days they observed, 3 days they observed the situation. Every day tremors were happening, but they were not very severe there in North. But by the time the damage had done in the
Okay, okay, ma'am. What important thing here I want to ask you, once this earthquake happened and your expedition got cancelled, there are two things. One is you feel bad because you missed the opportunity. Other is you feel good that you are safe. You've not been trapped in that earthquake. So which was the feeling which was more dominant in that time?
First dominant feeling was I missed the opportunity.
Is it?
I didn't feel about my safety. I missed the
Why
opportunity.
so? I know. I mean, opportunity surely you would regret, but then since you're alive, that is more important, is it not?
At 62, when you had taken the loan and you had worked hard to maintain your fitness, do you think it will be possible again to do all these things at that age? I was giving a simile, an analogy to everybody, whoever asked me, what was your feeling? How did you feel? And all those things. I said, अगर किसी के शादी में लड़की का कोई गलती नहीं है, कुछ हो गया, मे बी शामियाना में फायर हो गया, कुछ हो गया, बारात वापस चला गया, तो कैसे लगता है? वो लड़की को दोबारा शादी करने के लिए बहुत हिम्मत चाहिए और पैसा तो पूरा बर्बाद हो गया,
राइट?
और लड़की का क्या गलती था?
True.
ऐसा, that was the example I was giving to everybody after coming back.
Right, ma'am. Okay, now you have covered most of the journey. Rest we will not be able to cover each and every aspect, but then very important aspect, and that is very, very peculiar to you, which people keep asking, is that how come at this age also you get so much of drive? Because people at 18, 20, they don't get results, they give up. How is it that at this age also you keep doing yoga, you keep going for trail walks, you keep running so much? What pushes you? I mean, second part is, how do you maintain that kind of fitness for so long?
See, I consider these running or going for treks are all something extraordinary. I don't consider like, these are part of my routine. And to do your routine, you don't have to get that drive to eat, to prepare some special cuisine, to tidy your house. Where do you get the drive? Or to go for a movie, to go for a party, to go for a marriage ceremony, you get drive. So these are all part of my life. Going for 1 hour walk, 1 hour run in the morning, it is part of my life for 30, 35 years.
That's right, but then the body doesn't support, no? As you grow old, the body is not supporting.
I have slowed down, volume has come down, that intensity of training is not there. Earlier I did 3:45 full marathon, now I am doing 5 hours marathon. Earlier I used to do 4 hours, 4 minutes, 1 kilometer. Now I am doing 6.5 minutes, 1 kilometer. So according to your age, your efficiency, your intensity, your fitness level, your stamina may come down. You have to learn to accept the age gracefully. Age gracefully. You are aging, but you are not, gone out of the scene.
Right, absolutely.
According to your fitness level, you are doing it for yourself. You are not doing it to show it to the world. I don't want anybody's appreciation. I don't want anybody's pat on my back. Okay, it doesn't matter even if I run 7 minutes for a kilometer. Doesn't matter. I'm doing, my body is taking it. My last marathon was in 2019. Full marathon. And now when people are running in their balconies and drawing room to bedroom, I'm exploring the trails here.
Right. Okay, another question which intrigues me quite a lot is, you have achieved so many things in life, right? From skiing to mountaineering to Antarctica marathons and different type of marathons. Any regrets you feel you have in life, which you wanted to achieve something and couldn't achieve?
Naturally, Everest.
No, Everest, but then Everest is something which is not your fault. I mean, you couldn't have done anything. Nobody could have done anything in those circumstances.
But still, a sort of regret that I have not been able to do it for whatever reason it is. It will be there. And probably because I was spacing my marathons. I was not doing too many marathons, maybe 2 or 3. Only 1 year, I have done 6 marathons. One of your members was mentioning that I have done 4 marathons and that was the golden year. But during that year, I have done 6 marathons. 2 local Indian marathons I have not mentioned in that list. That too, this Bombay Marathon, January 16th I did one, and the next year, January 15th, I did the second one. So within 365 days, I had done 6 marathons. But usually I pace them and I do 2 or 3 marathons only in the year. I give sufficient rest and recovery to the body. During summer, I don't run at all. I don't race during those 2-3 months. And only my running would be for warm up only for 20-25 minutes. That's all during summertime. Summertime, I do a lot of weight training and a lot of yoga. Even before doing this course, I used to do a lot of yoga.
Okay, based on your experience, what would be your biggest learning in life? You know, there are a lot of people who are young who are listening to this. What kind of advice you would like to give so that they can sustain it for much longer?
Start it. Catch them young, how they say. You also start it at the young age only. Fitness is required for anybody. It is not just a sportsman's domain.
Right.
Fitness is everybody's responsibility, everybody's lookout. Whatever position you are, whatever age you are, whatever high post you are occupying, you have to manage your health. Before managing the people, before managing your company, before managing your balance sheet, before balancing your finances, you manage first your health and fitness. First health, then fitness.
Very
For
nice.
that, you have to start from the beginning and it has to become a part of your life. It is a routine. It is not a overnight. Even in exams, you can study for overnight and then get through. But fitness, you can't do it overnight or you can't do it in short time. Whatever your age, whatever your circumstances, your background, your profession, your body condition, some physical activity. I don't say do marathon. I don't say do trekking. I don't say to go for mountaineering. Whatever is suitable in your routine, whatever is accessible within your proximity, or whatever interest is there for you, at least one team sport and one individual sport, if you follow, it adds up to your personality, it maintains your health, your medical bills will be less. All the corporates, instead of giving medical reimbursement and insurances, they have to give health allowance and make the people to go for all these activities, some fitness activities and all. Then everybody's medical bill will be under control. My medical bill, nothing, except for that one major operation in 1998. My medical bills, I never go to the pharmacy, touch wood.
And how do you avoid injuries? Because these days we see everybody's getting injured every other year, if not multiple times in a year. How do you avoid injuries for so long?
It is too much, too soon, too fast, and quick gratifications. These are the reasons for the injuries. Too much, too fast, too soon, without realizing the limitations, without understanding the mechanism, without understanding the mechanism of the body, without reading the manual of the body. When you buy a machine, you read the manual of that. And when you have a body, a priceless machine, you don't understand the manual of the body. Understand the manual. Body needs some activity, physical activity. Do it.
Right.
Injuries, yes. I have gone through a lot of injuries. Knee injury, I have already explained. I had a hamstring injury. I had an operation in this one, layoff. Lot of injuries. But at that time, take it easy. Body needs rest. Body will recover on its own. And once you come back from the injury, start as a beginner. I was doing such and such a speed. I was doing so much, marathon in such and such a time, and I want to come back within month. No, you don't have control on the body. First, you understand the body.
Right. Okay. So everybody
manual of the body.
Right. So everybody, I'm sure, who's listening to this must keep this thing must listen to this and adhere to this, that, you know, you must avoid the aspects which ma'am has told. Don't go out too fast, too soon, and instant gratification. If you think you will get then the long run you're going to pay heavily, and you've got to understand your own limitations, train systematically, and learn the mechanics of learning, running or whatever activity you're doing before jumping into it. There's no point seeing others doing a 10K in 40 minutes and thinking you should be able to do it without understanding the basics of it and without getting trained for it. Right? So these things, if you keep it in mind, then Mala ma'am has promised that you'll also be reducing on your medical bills. And next, I would also request ma'am to write to not Anil Ambani this time. You can write to Mukesh Ambani and give this idea to him regarding the not the medical bills but the health bills.
And then wherever I get a chance to talk to the corporate people, I tell that instead of giving the medical reimbursement, first you give them the allowance to maintain the health, and your productivity also goes up. Individual productivity, company productivity also goes up. And another thing I want to tell, people after half marathon, they think of ultra marathon only. After doing 21 kilometers, they think of 50 kilometers only. So that is not, body is not built like that. You have to go gradually.
Very true.
And in our time, ultra marathons were not there. So now also I'm not very much for ultra marathons. In our time, ultra marathons were not there.
Oh, nice. That's nice. Now I'll request everyone to please switch on the videos. We can have a quick selfie and keep listening to these points again and again, because whatever ma'am has said, these points are coming with lots and lots of experience. It's not someone who has read it somewhere and then explained to this, because someone who has been to the Everest, somebody who's been to Antarctica Marathon, Everest Base Camp Marathon, so many events, and then represented country in different countries as well, wearing a national color, tricolor in Japan, and that too in those times when you hardly had any people running, and that too a lady with so much of guts and so much of determination. Ma'am, hats off. It's very easy to say, but then following your journey, I'm sure it's not possible for many others to ever do it.
Now
so if everybody is taken a picture,
now the atmosphere is different, and it is easy for the people to pursue all these things. So probably whatever I have gone through, that keeps me going now also.
Yeah, right. So these points which you have taken, ma'am, very, very relevant points you have conveyed today, and I'm sure the viewers are going to listen to them again, and then keep it in mind that to avoid injuries, they have to follow a proper plan, and then not to go too much, too fast, too soon, because that's the only way they'll avoid injuries and increase longevity. So with this note, we'll thank ma'am for your precious time and golden words.
Thank you so much.
I do listen to you.
Thank you. Only regret is that I couldn't see any of the participants. It is like talking to myself.
No, ma'am. Because of the network issues, I am sure some people had issues, but then initial part, I'm sure we couldn't have helped it. Still, sorry for the initial hiccups, but then I'm sure the words which you said are going to be there with us always. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Roman. Thank you, everybody. For your time. All the best to everyone.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good night. Jai Hind, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.